Foxy, it's your birthday. Not for real, just for play. This is Cree Summer, and Moana Nui will be right back.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Moana Nui podcast. We have a very special episode tonight. We are doing a Kickstarter highlight. Basically, we need y'all to tune in, support because it's less than 24 hours for the end of this Kickstarter. So we definitely need y'all support to make these stories come to life and out there for you to purchase. I have two members of the team with us right now. We have Robert Jeffries II. He is a professional writer, content writing, comic books, tabletop gaming, uh, video games, and more with over 20 years of experience. So he started this at 5. He, he worked with clients including DC Comics, Mighty Scribes, the Center of Disease Control, 133 Art Publishing, Subsume Media, and many more. He's the series writer for the Fox Chronicles. And many other series. He recently worked as a video game writer for developer Blowfish Studios on projects as Shadow Man, Darky. Darky is
Dark. I think it's Dark Legacy.
Dark.
Yeah,
Okay.
they say Dark Legacy.
I was like, let me make sure.
Dark Way Legacy.
Hey, you never know. I want to.
Right.
I was like, how are we pronouncing this? I need to make sure. Uh, so, okay, of course, welcome, Robert. He's if you've been watching our show, he's been on our show before, and of course, Tony Cade, also a recurring guest on our show. He's been involved in the Atlanta fandom scene since mid 1980s as a staff photographer for the Atlanta Fantasy Fair and Dragon Con. In the early 1990s, he produced a cable access show, Sci Fi Atlanta, featuring convention guest interviews. Of course, Tony, he was doing this show. He was like 15 when he did this. And then in 1994, he opened Challenges Games and Comics. In 2002, he co founded Terminus Media to develop and market creator owned properties, producing graphic novels and animated content for various clients, including the Center for Disease Control, the High Museum Arts, the Alliance Theater, and more. And he later started the Atlanta Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo in 2014, a free event with 50 vendors and over 60 hours of programming coming up soon in 2026 in March. We'll get more details on that. So welcome, Tony, back to the show.
How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Thank y'all
After
both.
listening to Robert's though, I still feel like I haven't done enough.
Whatever, man.
Both y'all, and y'all gave me the condensed version. Yeah, y'all both are constantly booked and busy. Which another booked and busy thing you have going on is the Fox Chronicle Kickstarter you have going on right now. And today we're less than 24 hours to the end of it. So we definitely need your support to make this happen. To give you an idea, in this coming of age story that spans centuries, Autumn Fox finds herself caught in a galactic power struggle while all she desires is to improve her world by tackling the plague of human trafficking. Sinister forces, both terrestrial and beyond, exploit the very systems we often take for granted. So welcome you both. We're going to dive in and talk a little bit about the Fox Chronicles. And everybody, you'll see on the bottom of the screen a ticker that gives you the link to be able to pledge on this Kickstarter. They're halfway, almost halfway, I would say less than halfway to your goal. So we definitely need a big push for y'all to support. You'll also see it in your comments. The link to click to be able to go right to the Kickstarter also. So definitely give your support. Hello, Brad. Thank you for tuning in. And so, of course, Tony and Robert, you're a series writer. Tony, you are the brains and the brawn of the comic book series. Can you tell the audience who haven't been introduced to the Fox Chronicles, how did this story come to be for making this Kickstarter happen?
Well, like I said, this is going to be the second issue we've done. The way the project came about is that I had pretty much stepped away from doing indie comics projects. You know, with Terminus Media, we got to a certain level, and then, like, you know, most bands, we kind of like split off and start doing, you know, our own, you know, projects. All right, but right during the time of the pandemic, I had two artists who had worked with us in the past, both hitting me up wanting to do a story with one of the characters that I created. And they both hit me up the same week. And I kind of like took that as a sign that, you know, maybe I should, you know, see about, you know, doing something. But I didn't want to do something with that original character. I wanted to have another creation for a project that I wanted to tackle. While Robert and I were working with the CDC, we found out that they were also dealing with child trafficking or human trafficking, period. That it was considered a pandemic. And I was like, okay, because I always think of the CDC as like viruses and bacteria and stuff like that, you know. And I was hoping that after we got through working with the CDC on the HIV and AIDS awareness motion comic story that we did, that we would be able to tackle the human trafficking. Unfortunately, that didn't pan out. You know, people's positions change, you know, government, you know, what party's in charge changes, you know, so we weren't able to go forward with it. But it was still something that was constantly nagging me in, you know, the back of my head, especially, you know, with part of it being Atlanta, because Atlanta is a hub for many positive things. You know, we've got, you know, the world's busiest airport. We've got, like, you know, 4 interstates. You know, before that, it was a train system where, you know, Atlanta used to be called Terminus back in the day. So most things, good and bad, come through Atlanta. And unfortunately, drugs and also human trafficking are a part of those things that come through. And so it was something I wanted to tackle. And so I told the artist what I wanted to do. And since Robert had worked with me on the CDC project, I reached out to him since he had like a lot more writing experience than I had, to see about working and coming on and doing this project.
Very nice. So, Robert, what was the creative process as you're developing the story for the Fox Chronicles?
So I guess the first step would have been, you know, Tony reaching out to me and pitching the idea of probably doing a reboot, you know, as far as the character, or creating this new character, Autumn Fox, but then also having her battle against human trafficking. So, you know, we start off with the basic pitch, you know, from Tony, and then from there, fleshing the story out, you know, and random ideas, random notes, emails going back and forth. You know, my wife calls me a pack rat when it comes to emails. So, you know, I can imagine that we had email chains going back and forth, you know, brainstorming ideas. And then that all that coalesces into an outline. So I normally try my best to do a page by page outline per issue. If we have a larger, like a sense of like the larger story that we're telling, we might do something a bit bigger. And in this case, I know that we have that general idea, and then I put together the page by page outline, and then from there I go to first draft for the script. You would hope that your first time up at bat, you can knock it out of the park. But then after that, we basically go through the process of different drafts, so we can get it to something that we send off to the artist. So, that's normally the process of how I work. When it comes to writing. I do think that one of the differences being in this case is that Tony and I go back, like I say, Tony was the reason I got started in comic books. So there's a certain rapport there that familiarity. I'm a writer, I'm not a speaker. And so it's easy to bounce ideas back and forth with him, or to take take his jumbled thoughts and put it down in an outline form or whatever. But so that would be the difference, I think, sometimes versus some of the client work that I do, as far as for the creative process. But yeah, once we had the first issue done, and then the same process for the second issue and the third issue, then it was off to the art. So.
Awesome. Of course, a lot of people with the Kickstarter, you at least issued one previously, and then we made the joke off air that, if 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 it's been a year or more, everybody says it's been, 10 plus years since your last issue. Which it takes some time to create, your next step. So going from issue 1 to issue 2, uh, what can people expect from the 2 issues? Because a lot of people may not have issue 1, but this new Kickstarter, you can get both issue 1 and issue 2.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I like to point out and stuff is that issue 2 is sitting on my computer and up in the cloud. Except for the credits page, it is completed. So if we're able to successfully do this Kickstarter, I will get everyone the PDF of issue 2 before Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Basically no problem whatsoever. And since I've already worked a lot of things out with the printer already, it's actually possible for us to go ahead and get the physical copies to people in January.
Oh, nice.
Luckily with me having a store, I already mail stuff all over the country. And I literally have like a pallet of Gemini mailers in the back room. I usually have like other indie creators that are here in Atlanta come here to get their Gemini mailers from me. So they can send their stuff off. So, we are already set up to quickly get everything to everyone. And if anybody who's ever been here in my store know, I've got like a big back room and can set up a trail of workers just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, of course, you also shared a trailer for Fox Chronicles. So I'm going to pull it up so the audience can get a little taste of what to expect from this series. So let me go ahead and get that pulled up for you. So as they're seeing the artwork and everything in this trailer, what was like the concept of creating these these worlds, but also the uniforms and everything that you're seeing in this clip?
Well, actually, most of this was all the creativeness of Fritz Cassis, our main artist on the title.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You know, so a lot of these designs of the aliens and the suits and everything all are from his imagination. Like I said, Fritz is one of the people who reached out to me, and I originally worked with him on a project that we did for, I believe it was called Nitto Tires, where we actually did a project where we gave the history of their company. So he was luckily somebody that I had worked with before. I was wondering, were they able to hear the audio on that?
I didn't hear any audio coming through on for that for the link that I got on Google Drive. Is there audio on the Kickstarter website?
Yes. Yes, there is.
Yeah.
So
Let me try
you know,
that one.
I don't want to people to miss out on the guest voice that we have to do this for us.
Okay, so let me pull it up through the Kickstarter website, and then that way we can y'all can experience the audio, because I definitely didn't hear anything on my end, but let me definitely do that. All right, so share.
Oh, then I'll wait. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Here you go. Let me pull this.
In the near future, a teenager from Atlanta, Georgia, Autumn Fox, uses her newfound abilities and powers to combat human trafficking. The Fox Chronicles is a coming-of-age story about a young girl's fight to save the forgotten and find her place in this galaxy-spanning adventure. The story highlights a pressing issue of today and shows how one young woman seeks to use her power to create change. If you enjoy stories like Far Sector, Ironheart, Nubia, and Netflix's Voltron Legendary Defender, this series is for you. Please support and share this campaign so we can bring this story to readers like you. Thanks for your support.
Yeah, that just makes me smile every time I hear it.
So, of course, for those that may not recognize the voice, who was the narrator that did the voiceover for that clip?
That was Bob Carter.
Nice.
And the animation was done by Jamil Johnson.
Very nice. Now, Robert, you were getting ready to say something right before we played the clip with the audio. Go ahead and continue what you were going to say.
Yeah, I was just going to give like a brief rundown of, like you said, the synopses or the summaries of like kind of where each of the issues are. First issue, as they say in the trailer, is our introduction to Autumn and also the origin of where her abilities come from. One of the things that I really like about the series is that Autumn knows about her abilities, so this is not her getting bit by the radioactive spider. That's already happened. So she's training for a much bigger mission. But one of the things that we introduce in the first issue is the fact that the crime of human trafficking is still happening, and we get that firsthand through the eyes of a pair of detectives who are I call our Renee Montoya and Commissioner Gordon for the series, or like Tony says, Cagney and Lacey. So that's what we're setting up in the first issue, and in Autumn's conflict with essentially lying to her parents about training for the much larger mission. And in the second issue, we get more into how human trafficking is affecting those in Atlanta, further conflict of Autumn trying to balance a life of being a teenage girl in Atlanta, in addition to now pushing forward with her fight against against human trafficking and the various components of that. So we're growing the world a bit more in issue 2, and I've been describing this series as her kind of Batman year one. Trying to go through the paces of becoming the hero, or the heroine that we know that she's capable of becoming. So that's kind of where we're at with the two issues, and actually we introduce a larger threat by the end of issue 2. So that that is kind of where we're at with with the story as a whole.
Yeah, issue 1 is one of those things and stuff where we give you her origin story, and we also introduce you to like her parents and her her dynamic with her parents, and we also, like, going into issue 2, also connect you to like her friends and her environment.
Yeah.
So we did a pretty good amount of like world building for her, but there's still plenty of action in the stories.
Yeah.
So if you like good storytelling, it's there. If you like action, it's there. And like I said, it's just setting up for what we have going on. And we've already started working on production of issue 3.
Oh, very nice. So, of course, I'm pulling up on from the Kickstarter. For those that pledge, you have, of course, most people who have done a Kickstarter, you have the privilege of not only getting like the original cover, but a lot of Kickstarters has exclusive variant covers. So can you tell us about like the artists and the ideas that you had for these different featured covers of these variant covers?
Oh, okay, no problem. You want to scroll down just a little bit? All right, this right here is done by Fritz Casas. All right, this is our basic cover. All right, strangely enough, you're going to be surprised when you see it. This is also by Fritz, and it's our Virgin cover. There will be no words, type, numbers, anything on the front of this. All of that will be on the back of it. So we want you to be able to enjoy this awesome piece of artwork that he did. I mean, look at the detail of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to cover up any of that art. All right, what you're looking at here is another cover done by Fritz, but this is our George Perez homage cover.
Nice.
Me personally, I've been a big fan of George Perez since the 70s. Yes, I'm that old. I was buying comics back when they were a quarter.
Rest in peace, Uncle George.
All right. He, I loved his artwork. And this is actually a piece. I always leave it like, hey, who can tell me what this is an homage of? For those people out there that are fans of George Perez. But this is a piece of artwork. When you see the original and you compare it to this, is always something that was like dear to my heart. Some of the artwork I love from him.
Very nice.
All right, this is going to be our metallic Virgin variant cover by local Atlanta artist Renee Clarke. As you can see, she is extremely talented. She has done work for major companies and not gotten credit for it. But that's a conversation for another level. But I mean, just look at that detail. Look at that hair, the braids, the eyes.
Yes. Yes, I was going to say the same thing. The hair is always telling. If an artist can do textured hair and braids properly and not do, I call it the Tyler Perry wig looking version of braids.
Was it like Shamar Moore?
Yes.
And the scary thing about this, she wanted to keep working on it.
Oh,
I actually had to just say no. It's awesome. Leave it the way it is. But like I said, she wanted to put even more detail into it.
Oh, wow. Well, that's already phenomenal. And then, of course, we have this variant cover also.
All right, this is our Marcus Williams variant. We plan on having 4 issues of this storyline, and the game plan is to have Marcus do a cover for all 4 of the books.
Ooh.
And if you're, so inclined, of course, you can always meet him at conventions and get it signed. But it'll be a piece that you can actually put in one of those frames that holds 4 pictures and put it up on your wall. So there'll be like, different Marcus Williams covers for each issue.
Oh, nice.
All right, this right here is our mission variant. Kind of like to remind people that the story has a purpose.
Mhm.
You know, Robert and I actually reached out to people at the Center for Disease Control and got a lot of information on human trafficking. Just like when we worked on the project for the HIV and AIDS awareness, they gave us a bunch of bullet points that they wanted to discuss in the animations. What we were able to do is to interweave all of that knowledge into the information. So you're getting information and you're learning, but it's not like anybody's like hitting you over the head with it. You're learning it as you're experiencing the story.
Yes. I love that because a lot of times, like you said, people always complain, which the current hot word is DEI, without truly understanding what it stands for and how until all the stuff that's been happening this year, people realize, oh, DEI didn't mean just for a particular group of people. It's affecting me because of my disability or stuff like that. So this is a great example of showing the story has many layers to it versus it just being a action packed comic book series. This has more to it for you to take in. And then let's see, here's our back cover that you have here. Oh, Tony, you're muted.
All right. Sorry about that. I don't know how that happened. One of the things that I discovered and stuff, having a comic shop and also attending conventions, is that people automatically look at the front cover and they flip around to the back cover. And a lot of times there's nothing on the back cover.
Yeah.
All right. So I did this art piece that had it commissioned just so there would be something on the back cover for you to look at that hopefully will convince you that this is a book you need to have.
Mm.
And it also, introduces, our young versions of the kick butt Cagney and Lacey. We say Cagney and Lacey if they were like, black and young.
And then, of course, here's a flashback to your issue 1 covers that if someone didn't get issue 1 and they back this Kickstarter, they can get issue 1. Here's your first cover that you have here.
Yeah, it's an animation cover by Levada.
Okay.
And this is our galactic cover by Sheldon Mitchell. And of course, there's that Marcus Williams, #1 issue cover.
Nice.
And that is our wraparound main cover. This is the one that I said that we would never go back to print on. It was like Kickstarter exclusive. But like I said, this artwork is awesome. And like I said, it wraps around. And also it has a UV cover. So I always joke with everybody. It's like, yeah, here, fill her braids. And she won't complain. But you get like, the texture and everything in there.
Very nice. And of course, we have on here about the storyline, which y'all were able to dive into. And Robert gave a brief synopsis for people to kind of understand from issue 1 into issue 2 for this. And we saw some of this imaging in the trailer that we showed earlier.
Yeah, so everybody can see this. Like we've got quality artwork, not just on the covers, but inside the book.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of times what people tend to look for, because I have seen other projects that the cover looks amazing, but then as soon as you open it, it's just like, what happened? What happened? It's like did the whoever you got for the cover couldn't do the inside and you had to get somebody last minute. It's just like you didn't have that quality still within the whole entire thing. So you'll see a lot of people pick up the comic at conventions and put it right back down, because it's just like as soon as they flipped open the pages, it's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna put that back.
And actually and stuff too, that was like, one of the reasons and stuff it took us so long to get issue 2 out, because this artist was busy and also had like health problems. And I was being stubborn and hard-headed and just refused to go with another artist. I wanted to keep, the same quality and the same feel of the story. And like I
Which is
said,
appreciated, because a lot of times you will have creators that will change artists, and you can see a very big difference between issue 1 and issue 2 because of the change of the artist.
Yeah.
so this is definitely something and stuff that, I was, like I said, if that cost us, I take complete, blame for it, because I wanted to keep the same look and the same feel of the book.
And I love that you also have here of what friends are saying, RIP to Jason David Frank. I remember when you had issue 1 and he was visiting your shop, that people got to meet him and everything when he came to visit while you were had issue 1 going on for Fox Chronicles.
Oh yeah, meeting him was great. I'm a little bit older, so I'm not as big of a Power Rangers fan as a lot of my 40-something-year-old customers. But he was just a great guy to meet.
Yes.
Yeah. That was what we always say. I'm in that age range, and I always say for when he showed up, that was a game changer for the Rangers. And he just came in and whooped all their butts, and we were like, "Who is this dude?
Green Ranger, yes.
Who is this dude?" It's just yo. But yeah. I'm glad y'all actually. I know, Danny. Y'all. I mean, did you get a chance to meet him?
Yes, I got to meet him a couple times, and the last time we got to see him was the Ranger Stop Atlanta a couple months before he passed. He was there, and just one thing about him, he has this rule of thumb that he doesn't leave any fan hanging. So if you're in line, he stays until the very last person in line is seen. And that year, he Artist Alley and the vendor hall closed at 7, and he was there until 11 p.m.
Wow.
seeing all the fans. And that was just the kind of person he was. And of course, the other Rangers will tell you he's a practical joker, and he likes to play jokes on the other Rangers.
Love it.
And then I see you have also other fans speaking about it that you have on the site. So this shows a lot of people who's getting introduced to the project that you have feedback and other and showing them the people who have enjoyed this particular series. So it's just not something that is just out there. It's people have actually read it, and you have some of that. So this is definitely unique compared to a lot of the Kickstarters that are out there.
Yeah. I think it's, like we kind of spoke to before, you have the edutainment side of things, but and I don't want to say this topic hasn't been tackled before as far as, with human trafficking, because there are billions upon billions of comic books out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what makes this unique is that we have a young Black teenage girl channeling the power inside, literal and figurative, to to fight this head on. And it's a issue which unfortunately has a lot of these victims, the same type of women, basically just women and females in general. So it's she's helping out a lot of people, but definitely helping out that demographic. And it's a beautiful book. It's a beautiful book that I think everybody has put their hearts into. So
yes. And the thing is, kind of that typical thing, a lot of people, it's they're aware of, they see stuff at the airport when you go to the bathroom, they have it on the bathroom in the stalls. If you see anything, if you're a victim, you can make a call, and you have different ways to let people know, to help. But it's one of those also similar to current issues that are going on. outside of that is most people see it and kind of like, oh, well, you know, think nothing of it until it comes close to home.
Right.
And then you have this situation. I know there was one on the news that it was this girl's aunt. They said it was a current real life version of Taken. They
Mm.
realized their niece was taken, they started, you know, nobody would do anything, and they started investigating themselves, and they found where her and some other girls were being held, and they went in on themselves. These two black aunties went in,
Mm.
and of course they called the cops, but they had to step in because it's one of those until law enforcement has some kind of trail, it, you know, nothing gets really done. It's on record, but unfortunately nothing's being done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a great way to kind of bring the subject to light, but add the action fact to it, and so much more to really involve um, you know, the audience into the whole story and get them engrossed into it. And of course, you know, get them so engrossed that they, as soon as they finish, they're hitting you and Tony up like, okay, when's issue 3 coming? Which I know y'all probably used to that with other projects and things that go on with a lot of the fans that are out there.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, right here, you know, we're actually showing a page of issue 3.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
one of the things that I wanted to do, like I said, you know, issue 2 was completed. I don't have to wait for funds to come in and then wait for the artists and, you know, the colorists to do all the work and everything. It's ready.
Yes.
You know, I just need, you know, the help to go ahead and, you know, get it to people's hands and get it printed up, you know, for you guys. You know, and like I said, we've already started on 3, so we can go ahead and, you know, click that out. So we don't plan on there being like a long pause between books at this point.
Yes.
And you really want us to do issue 3 because issue 3 is going to have Autumn Unleashed.
Yeah.
Yes, Autumn Unleashed is the thing for issue 3. She is going to be kicking so much booty that, you know, Batman and Daredevil will be going, oh my, you know, she's gonna be, you know, you're gonna get to see her playing detective, and you're gonna, you know, get to see her as a force of vengeance.
So when you say that, kind of, if you're a Naruto fan, it reminds me of that scene of Rock Lee, that he takes off the weights, and people didn't realize this whole entire time this boy has had weights on his legs, and he drops them, and Lily puts a hole in the floor, and then after that he's just like going ham and everything. So right when you said that, I just envision her like she takes off those weights and is like, all right, let's go, let's kick some butt.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been saying is that Tony was concerned that there wasn't enough action. I think there's enough action between the first 2 issues, but in the 3rd issue, I said, "You want your action? Here you go." And it's just like those are fun scenes to write, especially because it gives the artist a chance to go ham. Like and there are some sequences in this that like I said, I had fun writing, but Fritz kills it with bringing these scenes to life, and I'm excited to just kind of go bigger and grander, while still keeping to the heart of what the story is all about.
See, originally we had planned on having, you know, 3 30-page issues. But then Robert was like, "No, that ain't gonna work."
Yeah,
you know?
and it wasn't
another issue.
Like I told Tony, it's not because I want another check. It was because what I was finding was, as I was, you know, we outlined the story for issue 3, and I kept coming to a place where I was just like, this is going to be very compressed. Like it's going to feel rushed. It's not. We need a chance for this to breathe. So like I said, I pitched the idea, or at least said that, you know, we need an issue 4, you know, so we can at least wrap this particular arc up in a nice and, well, I mean, at least a good way. I wouldn't say nice and tidy, but a good way. So
Very nice. Now, of course, any, I'm gonna scroll down to rewards of the Kickstarter, because everybody wants to know, all right, for my money, what am I getting with this? So I pulled it up on screen because some people don't want the physical copy. A lot of people going digital. They, for space, they like the little tiny houses and things like that. So you have the PDF format that people can get. Tony, can you go into a lot of the rewards you have available for people to pledge, depending on your budget?
Well, like I said, right here, at the top, you're seeing that we're offering the PDF of issue number 2. It's $8, which is usually like a couple of bucks more than most people are paying for PDFs or Kickstarters. But I also like to remind people that we're doing like 30 pages worth of story.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be worth that extra dollar.
Yeah.
Trust me, to get those extra pages. All right. And then for those people who didn't get the first issue, we have a very limited stock of the first issue of the Fox Chronicles and the PDF, in case you want to start with issue 1 because you missed the first campaign.
Very nice. And then you also have for those that just want digital, you have the PDF of both 1 and 2 available for $14.
Yes.
And then let's see. And then of course, as people love their variant covers, you do have your different bonuses. Unfortunately, y'all miss out on the early bird specials. So unfortunately, those won't be available because you're on the midnight hour right now.
But right here, this is a really good deal. With this one, you're going to get the Fox Chronicles 2 physical copy, the mission variant. All right. And you're going to get a sticker sheet. And you're going to get the PDF for just $15.
Very nice.
All right. Which is a tremendous deal, that we had out there, that we wanted for people. Like I said, the next one is the George Perez homage cover, which comes with, the PDF, the homage cover, and also a sticker. Yeah, early bird specials. Yeah, they're finished. No.
Yeah. I skipped over that first one.
Yeah. All right. With this one, you get the Marcus Williams variant. Because I let people know Marcus doesn't do these for free.
Nope.
So we got to charge a little bit extra for those. And, fortunately for me, as he said one time, I only do covers for people I like. So luckily, Marcus likes me. I want to keep it that way.
Yes.
All right. So you're going to get a PDF. And you can get the Marcus Williams cover and a sticker. Then the next one is the Virgin variant, where you get the Virgin cover, the PDF, and the sticker. And then we have like the other early bird special, which is finished. All right, and this right here is the Fox Chronicles 1 variants that you're able to get, the Marcus Williams one. And then also the foil highlight variant of the first issue, along with a PDF and another comic. Then there's the Marcus Williams collection, where you get both Marcus Williams covers, the PDF, and the sticker sheet. All right, then we get the metallic cover for issue 2, which features the artwork of Renee Clarke. All right. Then we also give you a physical copy and the PDF and the sheet for $75. For a metallic cover, that is an awesome price.
Yes.
Because those things, by themselves are like $100, $150. All right. So we're actually giving this one as a extreme bargain for those people who are like the collectors. And just to have, I can't wait to see Renee's artwork on a metallic cover. It's going to pop even more than it's popping on your screens now.
Yes.
And then we've got the all-in of Fox Chronicles 2, where you get the PDF, and all of the variant covers, including the metallic cover, for just $150. So you get all of this nice special artwork.
Yes.
And the metallic cover for just $150. Usually a metallic's $150 by itself. I'm going to give you the metallic and all the other 6 covers in total.
And you can only get it through this Kickstarter. So you definitely need to go ahead and pledge. It is less than 24 hours before the end of the Kickstarter. So definitely pledge. Definitely share this link with your friends who really love great story writing and everything, because we want to make sure we hit goal for the end of this campaign. And of course, you've worked with a diverse and talented team to make this happen. Of course, we have Robert, who is joining us right now. You also have Fritz that you talked about earlier, Marcus Williams, that you also worked with as a cover artist. Can you talk about some of your, the talent that you recruited to work on this project for your different cover artists, but also, your colorists and things like that you've worked with for this project?
Okay, well, right here in front of you and stuff is Leveda. I really wish she had been able to be on this, but like I said, she's like really busy person. But as you can see by her artwork, she's like ultra talented. I actually met her when she was living here in Atlanta. Then she moved to New York. Then she moved to Texas. Now she's down there in Florida. So she'd be jetting all over the country.
Yes.
All right. Besides being a talented artist, she's also like really, skilled in the tech field. So she's like ultra talented. She's got that tech mind and she's got that artistic mind. So it's always a pleasure to work with her. And this is Von Randall. He's the one that did our back covers. Like I said, he works for, Image Comics. He's worked on a lot of different titles, so it's, definitely somebody that I wanted, to work with. Putting this group together, I always call them like, my little rainbow coalition. I wanted to put together a team from like different backgrounds, So
you have the UN of creatives.
I mean, Robert and I are doing a character that is not only a woman, but she's also Black and Asian. So it's one of those situations and stuff is that, I wanted the input, from the women on our team to make sure that we're doing the character justice and writing her appropriately. And then, of course, with her also having an Asian background, I wanted to make sure that the, other creators on this team, I can be like, does this make sense to you? Does this work? Because I didn't want to do anything that was going to, offend anybody or, make the mistake of feeding into, some, prejudice that I might not know about, or, doing something that was like, culturally, wrong.
Yes.
All right. Oh, and this is Neil. Neil is a lifesaver. He is doing our colors. We actually had a colorist who started on the first issue that was extremely talented. Unfortunately, that artist has the problem of like overbooking, themselves. All right. And so during the middle of the project, I had to go in and, hey, Fritz, you going to come in and join us and talk about this artwork? And we were just singing Fritz's praises. We need to go ahead and jump in here. All right. But Neil is awesome. He came in, saved the day on issue 1, and we had to make sure that he came back for issue 2.
Awesome. And then let's see, you have your letterer. Can you explain to people who are new to comics, like the letterer, because a lot of people may not be familiar of what how impactful is the letterer in these projects?
Well, to me, actually, when I did a panel at DragonCon, I actually brought it up on the when I was doing the Bitterroot panel. That to me, the letterer is kind of like your soundtrack,
Yes.
for your movie. And to me, the letterer is like really important. Like our lettering in issue 1, I think is like awesome. All right, but then I got a chance to talk to today, and she approached me because she saw the book, and she was like, "Oh, well, if I had done this, I would have done this, I would have done that, and I would have made this pop." And then I was just like, "Okay, so you have time to do issue 2?" And she came in and did issue 2, and I saw how the lettering just was popping off the page.
Yeah.
She brings another feel to it. Just the way that she like handles the bubbles, and she does the coloring, and she changes the lettering fonts. Like I said, she's a true artist.
And then, of course, for those that saw the trailer that we showed earlier, you had Bob Carter to do the voiceover for that trailer. How was that bringing him into the project?
Oh, well, like I said, it was great. Luckily for me and stuff, I met Bob before, and he actually comes and hangs out at the store some. And he was actually one of our voice acting guests at the Atlanta Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo. And so I basically was like, this piece would be better if we had a voiceover. And like, okay, it's not like I don't know a professional voice actor, so let me, reach out to Bob and see if he's got time to do it. And he was like, yeah, sure, send me the video. We sent him the video. Robert sent me in like a little short, went in and edited the short a little bit to make sure the paces were right for like the 1 minute, sent it over to Bob, and within 2 days, it was right back.
Wow.
And I just sent it to Jamil and like, okay, go for it, man. Edit this on in. And then he's like, oh, man, I can't believe you did that. It just takes it to another level, So I was real happy and stuff seeing, the animation guy get all excited because now we had, Bob Carter doing voiceover over his video.
Very awesome. And 2 other talents that you had working on the project.
Oh, yeah. Well, Powell, he didn't get a chance to work as much on this second issue as he did with the first one.
Okay.
But he did like all of the Kickstarter graphics for our first Kickstarter. And he actually did the Amber Fox backup story that's in issue 1.
Okay.
And so like I said, he's a very talented artist too that, does websites on the side along with, doing illustration whenever he gets a chance. And then, of course, you already heard me, raving about, the artwork of Renee Clarke. Like I said, she's done stuff for Marvel and Valiant and Lions Forge and just never got the credit for it. So anytime I get a chance to, I just like, hey, she did this work. Look at this work. You guys need to hire her. She needs to be, be able to make, at least like, a side job money, off of her artwork because she's like extremely talented.
Very nice.
And of course, like I said, Jamil did the animation. And then Dan has been doing a lot of the promotional pieces for the Fox Chronicles. And he's been like, pretty much my assistant art director. He's giving his input and stuff on, what we have going on, with the story and how things are looking. Oh,
and
yeah,
of course,
Cade and stuff. He just cleans up,
he brings the whole band together. So awesome. So of course you have, like I said, this great lineup. We are less than 24 hours from this Kickstarter coming to to finish, and we are just a little over halfway mark with 141 backers. So we definitely need y'all's help. 22 hours left to go to help bring this to the forefront. So please share the link on your social media. If you don't have it in your budget to pledge, or if you can just only do the PDF version, pledge whatever is in your budget, but share with your social media and your friends and family so they can definitely support this Kickstarter, so we can help make it hit go before. Oh, looks like since I said something, someone pledged, and we at 142 now. Uh, so keep on doing that. We need more backers so we can push that to. We need to hit the goal of 7,300 to hit goal. So definitely
We
pledge
need
what.
that Hail Mary.
Yes. So share, especially if you know people that are really big on original stories, very creative stories, and great artwork. Definitely share this Kickstarter with them so they can definitely support and make this Kickstarter happen. So once again, you'll see in your chat the link. You also see it at the bottom of your screen, the link to the Kickstarter. So definitely go to the link to definitely support this Kickstarter. Any other details or anything you want to share with the audience? So uh, about this project and information to know, for them to know about.
Uh, like I said, it's a project with a mission, and this is a project where I wanted to bring together a very talented team and produce, quality work. I think that this book is as good as anything that Marvel or DC or anybody else, can put out, both from a writing standpoint and for art. And it's a story that you're going to enjoy reading. Hopefully it's something that's going to bring you back, for every issue. We're going to try to have something in it, for everyone. If you're just one of those action fiends, we got your action. If you want, a deeply developed story and characters you can care about, we've got that there too. You know, support the project. I want to keep putting the story out. I want to, be able to pay my creative team. They like the little extra funds.
Yes.
And like I said, we're going to keep putting it out as long as you guys show us the love. And like I said, I know it's the holiday season, but hey, I'm little Timmy. Help us out. We want to get this to you.
Just a little more. Just a
Yes,
little more.
you don't have to wait. The book, except for the credits page, is finished. It's sitting on the computer. It's up on my Dropbox. It's ready for you. I will get this book to you if we can reach this goal before Christmas. I will get you the physical copies in January. So please pledge. There's no risk. The book is done. It is ready to go.
And for those that are familiar with Kickstarter, this is very rare because most of the time Kickstarters are people, they're giving you their timetable because they have to make the goals so they can hire all the people that they're promoting to be part of the project, because they can't do anything until they get the money. And of course, you're not getting the project in hand for another year or so from that date, because they got to do all the editing, the artwork, the writing, everything before it can even get in your hands. So you've skipped all of that. It is ready as soon as y'all hit go. So once y'all go, they make that credit page. And by Christmas, you got that PDF to enjoy on Christmas morning. So Merry Christmas to you.
And it makes a great gift.
There you go. That you can give to your friends and family and everything, especially those that enjoy comics and everything. So definitely support and everything. And of course, we're getting to the top of the hour. So Tony and Robert, can you tell people how they can follow you on social media and keep up with all your upcoming projects and stuff that is coming down the pike?
So
Oh,
for
go ahead. I don't really do the whole
yeah.
social media thing like that. Go for
I
it,
mean,
Robert.
for me,
And websites
for me, my website is Robert K. Jeffrey, JEFFREY.com, RobertKJeffrey.com. And the best social media place to follow me is on Instagram. It's robertk.jeffrey, robertk.jeffrey, and you'll see me posting about upcoming projects, releases, and unhealthy obsession with the TV show Sliders. Shout out to Stumbling Through the Multiverse podcast. But yeah, those are the two places you can find me.
And not unhealthy. If you missed out on the panel discussion at Atlanta Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo 2025, go to Moana Nui's YouTube page. You will find the panel there for you to be able to watch to understand. If you've never watched the show, you need to correct that. If it's been a minute since you've watched it, watch the panel. And then if you are a current watcher of the show, watch the panel so you can engage, and then you can message Robert about your insights on that panel from Atlanta Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo. And Tony, what about you?
Oh, like I said, I'm old school. I still use my phone to call people. You can just email me at info@challengesgames.com. If you need to do some holiday shopping, you can go to my website, challengesgames.com. And also look for the new website that's going to be popping up for the Atlanta Sci-Fi Expo.com.
Yes.
So I'm real easy to get contact with. I'm still using Facebook. You just look up Tony Cade. There's the one guy that's the football player and another guy who's selling real estate. I'm that other guy. All right.
So definitely everybody, definitely support both Tony and Robert, following them. If you got any Christmas shopping, buy some of their other projects. Robert from his website, and then also Tony going to his website for his show. But if you're in the Atlanta market, in the Decatur, Stone Mountain area, or anywhere in Atlanta, go ahead and drop on by Challenges, Games, and Comics so you can get it physically, that you don't have to wait for it to come in the mail.
Hey, I got Pokemon cards.
See, you just said the word. And then if you like to play against others, you can also find out from Challenges when they have different game days for different card games and stuff like that. So whether you play, Tony could tell you all about it, because there's been times I've gone to shop and that area, them tables are full. Full of people playing.
I got Ubus.
So if you want the very luckers, the very famous Labubus, you have the fancy Labubus. I know they have the 24 karat gold Labubus.
I don't have those, but I have the official ones.
Yes, because there are the knockoff ones out there.
I have the real ones.
Yes. So if you're looking for the real Labubus, please go to challengesgames.com or go to the physical store. But everybody, once again, thank you for tuning in for today's show. Please definitely go to the Kickstarter. Like I said, it's on the bottom of the screen, but also you see in your comments a link to the Kickstarter website. We got 22 hours left to go to get to goal. So please share, pledge to what is in your budget for that, whether it's a Christmas gift or for a gift to yourself. That's the best gift, is giving to yourself. I do it a lot.
And you want to support my apparently extremely shy artist, because suddenly all of them decided not to be able to make the show, even though the main artist made a comment. I'm like,
I mean,
they're talented.
I ain't calling people out. That's Tony.
Hey, I will tell you, with having a show, so many people are nervous because
Yeah,
public speaking is one of the number one fears for folks. But I also have learned that when people come on our show, they're like, "Oh, I'm only going to talk for like 30 minutes about my Kickstarter," and then we turn around like, "And we're at the top of the hour." What you mean, top of the hour? Yeah, it is. It makes it easy that,
yeah,
coming on our show. So artists, for the next time, please don't be fearful. You're amongst family, you're among friends. You can definitely come on here. It is introvert friendly.
yeah. I was gonna say like because most of the questions I get at tables are like, "Did you draw this?" And I'm like, "No, I do stick figures." And those are the times that I wish that the artists were there, to talk
Yes,
about
our
the,
poor writers go
you know,
through that so much.
right. And it's
Well,
like,
Robert,
what?
remember when we went to New York Comic Con and we had the artists with us and they
Yeah.
wouldn't stay at the table?
Well, there you go. There you go.
You
So
know,
no, I'm just saying like it definitely for personal experience coming on this show, y'all it's like being at home. So,
Yes.
definitely don't be shy. I am not the most talkative person, but like, shout out to the entire team. Like we've put together a pretty quality piece of work. So I want to virtually hug everybody. But yeah, and I was glad to see Fritz. Fritz jumped on the chat too. So
Yes, thank you for tuning in, Fritz. And next
yeah,
time we want to have you on here. So,
most
like I
definitely.
said, we're introvert, extrovert, and ambivert friendly here. And you realize, time goes by very fast on here because we try to keep it like Robert said, like you're at home, you're among
Yeah.
friends. Even if you met each other for the first time, we want to make it comfortable for you. But everyone, once again, thank you for tuning in. Please make sure to share. You can go to Fox Chronicles has a Facebook page. You can go there. You can share stuff from there. If you're on Facebook with your friends and family, definitely spread the word so we can make go within the next 22 hours. So, everyone, once again, thank you for tuning in. Definitely follow, connect with Tony and Robert. Definitely stop by Challenges to purchase any Christmas gifts because we are down on the midnight hour on that. You have a couple weeks to buy your stuff. 2 weeks to be exact. Before Christmas morning. For Christmas Day. So definitely
I got anime blind boxes.
see. So and then if there is something you're looking for, you just hit him up. Like, Tony will be like your little dealer. He'd be like, "Hey Tony, I'm looking for such and such. All right, cool. Come back on this day and I'll have it for you." And there you go. That's how it happens.
Hey, I've been
And
giving away free comic samples.
see, see, that's what you're missing. So come by Challenges. It may end up being your weekly or daily check-in that you may go there because you enjoy going over there and you keep finding little treasures over there. So definitely go by. and and on occasion you will see Robert and some of our other creatives because
Yeah.
Tony likes to have a lot of our indie creatives there promoting their projects. You'll be able to purchase comics, posters, and more from those different artists and creatives. So definitely sign up for any newsletters for Challenges from their website so you can keep up to date of any special events and any new products that are coming out that is of high demand that you need to be on the lookout for.
Oh, and don't forget, I've got that indie comic section.
So yeah, so if there's an indie project you're looking for, or if there's one that you don't see and you would love to get a hold of, let Tony know. So then that way he can get you connected and get that in your hands. Because we definitely want to support our indie creatives. But once again, everybody, like I said, thank you for tuning in
So,
on this Friday Eve, aka Thursday. Definitely tune back in on Monday. Monday, we're going to be once again, Moana Nui will have a show in partnership with Blurredography, our Blurredcast, that will be talking another Kickstarter highlight with TJ Sterling and his team for his project. So we got two Kickstarter highlights. So definitely tune in at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Monday to learn more about that project and how you can support and make that project happen also. So everyone, thank you for tuning in. And everyone, I hope you have a great evening. Bye, everyone.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free, was a freedom then, when they annexed Hawaii and called it cedar lands, without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves the Republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand, yeah.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No regard for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if we put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course. Cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No regard for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. We will.